Canadian real estate bears are about to be wrong again, because it appears that real estate prices are not likely to drop in 2023. And in fact, at the moment, they're increasing already all over again, even with overnight lending rates 4% or more higher than the same time last year. But I'm not just here to pump the market. In fact, I'm here to show you the real statistics in my market of Surrey and the Fraser Valley in an effort to show you why being scared about the market crashing even further than it already has is probably not worth worrying about. And to do so, I'm going to share with you 43 years of completely unbiased and factual statistics from the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board right after I invite you to subscribe to the channel, because only 30.3% of you watching right now have already done so. And my hopes are that after you subscribe, you can also go ahead and click the like button to get this video over 200 likes. And then hopefully you clicking the like button will get this video out to 1,008 new people who can also subscribe. And then finally, I can feel accomplished after growing this channel to a community of 10,000 strong. And with that out of the way, let's dive into the numbers. And with any statistics, I better preface this by letting you know more about the numbers that I'm about to show you. Today's stats are the year-over-year March stats for the Fraser Valley since 1980. So this is not the yearly gross averages, but rather the average for the month compared to the year before and the year after. And the reason I wanted to look at the numbers in this particular way is because I did look up the gross year, and believe it or not, 2022 was not a loss, meaning that more homes sold in 2022 for a higher price than they did in 2021. But we have obviously seen a come down from the peak that was March of 2022. So hopping into it here, the first column that I want to show you is the average price across the entire province of BC. And again, this is starting off in March of 1980. Then we go to the average price. So this middle column here is the average price for the Fraser Valley board across all asset classes. But again, this is the month of March in each of the 43 years. And then the last column is the change from the previous year until the following. So we can see whether or not the market has increased or decreased, because that is what I want to talk to you mostly about today. So let's go back all the way to 1980. Average price in the Fraser Valley board in March was $71,000, and then it absolutely skyrocketed at that point in time by almost 100%. Look at that, 95.56% increase in just a year. And then we saw the most similar crash as we have right now. Interest rates skyrocketed. At that time, we actually had a double dip inflation, which is a possibility now moving forward as well. And that probably has all of the bears being extremely scared about the marketplace. So we saw a 95% increase and then a 32% decrease just 1 year later. But I'm going to now present you with some numbers. And then I also want to explain to you why I think anybody that thinks the market is going to crash from this point forward, well, they have the numbers and previous stats working against them. Now, I understand that history does not repeat itself. However, at the exact same time, you do have to understand that there is a law of averages. And statistically speaking, you're going to find out that this is probably not a year where we're going to see another massive drop. So when I scroll all the way down to the bottom and add up all of the numbers, the positives and negatives, so we've seen some big swings, a 95% increase in 1 year, a 32% decrease, and they're all there. When I calculated the average change since 1980, the market grew by 7.6% on average every year. However, let's take the other side of the argument here. When we did have some sort of a decline, the average decline that happened was 9.73%. But the average upside, and this is crazy, the average increase year over year using these numbers is 15.23%. So sure, nobody wants to buy in a year that's going to go down maybe an average of 10%. But here's the best part about owning real estate, and particularly real estate in my market of the Fraser Valley. There were 13 years that saw negative growth from March to March in the Fraser Valley. That's 13 of the last 43 years. So 72% of the time we have seen an increase. And 18 of those years, so let's face it, that's almost half of the years that you own real estate. If you were to own real estate for a 43-year period, almost half of those years we've seen a double digit or a more than a 10% increase. Now, here's where I could be wrong. The most similar time to now with increasing interest rates was 1980, 81, 82, that kind of area where we saw a massive increase, almost 100%, which is way more than we've seen recently, by the way, then down 32% from that 100. And that was a terrible time for a lot of people. They lost their homes. The next year did see a 10% decrease from there. And this was kind of the worst of it. You had 1982, 83, 84, and 85 where values continued to drop on a year-over-year basis. But then after that drop, you see a very quick and steady recovery over the following 5 years. And then in 1991, another almost 10% drop, and then again, solid recoveries, and then a 4% drop. So what you're seeing year after year after year is there's a very good chance you're going to see an up, 73% chance that you're going to see an up, and then a 45% chance that you're going to see a 10% or more increase. Now, 2009 saw almost 12%. People don't really like to focus on this, but look at 2012, almost 10% as well. And then 2017, 11%. Nobody was talking about a crash in 2017, but the average price dropped in my marketplace 11% at that time. And now the average price just this last year has dropped 19%. The biggest individual drop, by the way, since 1981. Now let's focus on 1981 again for a minute. If you bought a house in 1981, and you could not hold on to it because of now much higher interest rates, yeah, you didn't do well. The next 2, 3, 4 years, there's a lot of people that just turned in their keys and walked away from the market. But with any real estate, you should be planning to own that real estate for a minimum of 5 years, likely even more. And if you were able to hold on at that point for, well, not that much longer, let's call it another 10 years, and there's lots of people that live in their homes for 10 years, you're now easily seeing an increase, and then obviously off to the races after that. But when we now 1981, 82 may be the most similar to what we're seeing right now. However, when you look at all of the other years, it was not common, and I don't even know if there's actually another one. Let me look down my list. There's not another, outside of the early 80s, there is not another time where there's 2 years in a row of losses. And there are multiple instances where you have 2 years in a row of double-digit increases, like you see here in 2011, 2012, 2015, 2016, and again in 2021, 2022. So if you just look back at the numbers, and of course, there are always things that can change. There can be banking crises, interest rate increases, further inflation. There could be all of these things. However, statistically speaking, if you are going to gamble, if you want to call real estate investing gambling, the chances of running into back-to-back year declines are very, very slim. And if you look at your real estate purchase with a minimum window, and I'm talking absolute minimum window of 5 years to own real estate, well, there's a very good chance you're going to see returns in the 7% range without too much headache. And that is going to make people that are still waiting for the crash to happen, well, it's going to make them quite angry. And what we do have to realize is we did just see a massive decline. 20% came off the top. The only year that surpassed that was 1982. And again, history does not repeat itself, but it does rhyme. So that is why I believe so solidly in the foundation of investing in real estate. I'm sure you will let me know down below in the comments if you agree, and you will for sure let me know if you disagree. And if you do agree with me and you want to get into the market and you're looking to do that in my market of Surrey or the Fraser Valley, you can book a call with me right now using the link in the description below. Thank you so much for subscribing, getting us to 10,000 subscribers, clicking the like button, and we'll see you in a couple of days.